can you tell me about the Ideological Warfare Working Group
Yep.
in San Francisco and a little bit about what you guys do here?
Sure. Basically, we call it the Idealogical instead of Ideological Warfare Group because we're full of ideas. That's just an inside joke, kind of. It's something like tongue-in-cheek just to make us smirk because it's not really... we don't really have an ideology. We're about getting the facts and information out. We're more like the research team. But calling it ideological warfare is just funny, and it gets right-wing bloggers attacking us, which is good. It keeps us on our toes, too. But we basically, all we do is we have tons of research projects, bank info. We take research requests from different people. We put out really good flyers. We're working on our the Occupy cards, which now we're working with OccuCards.net, I believe, or .com, to put out these trading cards for different things like banks and bank criminals and just pretty much everything that we're here for. Income disparity, social and economic inequality, injustice, and justice. It's a lot, and we do a lot of information. It's really it's kind of what you want to come into if you're a nerd and you're here for the facts. You're not built for street fighting, and that's too intense for you, but you want to help. If you don't have this in your own Occupy, this is good to start. It's just a research group or whatever you want to call it, ideological warfare. But it's a good tool for your Occupy to have, because that way you don't. To tell a story about one of the reasons why we decided to form this is because a member of the press came down to do an interview, and instead of having someone who knew the facts, the person in the press who was a friend ended up talking with someone who told him how the Fed was controlled by like reptilian aliens that were related to Queen Elizabeth II, and I'm like, that's not really what Occupy's about, and it would have been nice so that, this is back when we had a camp, but it would have been nice if that press person could have had a chance to do an interview with someone who knew facts and information, or had that information made available to him. So what we do now is we get this research, we get the information together, and give it to people in Occupy and without. And also, for the people that want to do teach-ins and that kind of thing too, we can get a lot of research for it. And right now we're just really getting rolling. Like tonight was a really productive meeting because we're just finally we've got enough critical mass and we've got the right amount of brains together where we're not overwhelmed, and we can finally start getting a lot of things done.
Awesome. So, just two more questions. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to Occupy?
I really have always been waiting for this my whole life. My parents raised me on like Red Dawn and Legend of Billie Jean. So I've always been a fan of like championing the underdog and the little guy and the little girl and whatever. But there's so much wrong. It's like, it's impossible. I really get angry when people want us to be, bullet statements, because it's like, there's so much wrong. How can 6 bullet statements cover it, There's no reason, we can't fix everything. And it's just, and I was just spent so many years of my life angry and wanting other people to get involved, and then, literally this just fell into my lap one day. I heard that Occupy had started, and I looked into it more. I'd seen that poster Adbusters put out of the ballerina on the bull's back, and so I knew what to look for when mid-September came around, and it was perfect. It was the revolution that I had been looking for, Whatever that ends up being, we're definitely a force for change, and that's really why I came down, because it was the first chance I really saw to make a difference and make life better for a lot of people. And something that's not just one person's vision, but everyone's. That's why I'm really a champion of, for as annoying as the GA and consensus can be, and as frustrating, it's still I think it's very, very, it's better than, having top-down leadership, because you're not conformed to one person's vision, it's everyone's. And it's good because America's a huge country. We have to share it with 310 million people, so it's, I think it's much better, much more egalitarian. It's kind of like the movement we all deserve to have.
Definitely. And what is the message of Occupy for you?
For me, and basically it's like all of us can agree that there's something wrong, profoundly wrong with society. So it's like this is the conversation to address that, to even if we can never come up with a reasonable list, like if it's 500 bullet points, well that's 500 things that we need to work on, and it's this is the first time that people have come together and been willing to talk and to even throw their bodies against the gears, like Mario Savo, I think his name is, said at Berkeley in the 60s, you know? And we're all doing that now, and we're willing to do that, and it's you know, and that's very much what the message is. It's like, this is your chance, probably our last chance with all the draconian laws that are coming down. This is our best chance to make a difference, you know? And that's really what, you know, we were Occupy was the foot in the door, you know, and it's like, we were the wrench in the machine now, and it's not stopped, but it's definitely stuttered and all out of whack. So.
And it's got people talking about the issues. It's making the conversation happen.
Yeah.
Which is one thing that I've seen that I absolutely love. Is it started the dialogue.
Yeah, because it's not an astroturf thing like the Tea Party where you're only, you know, it's funded by corporations and the Koch brothers. It's like you're not talking about a pre-approved list of manufactured social ills and, you know, oh my God, there's a black president, you know. That's not what we're about at all. It's like, this is the people. It's the voice of the people, and it's our problems. And I think it's amazing.
All right, thank you. Thank you. That was awesome.